Hello everybody, and welcome. This is Ultimate Virtual. We are here for the qualifying session for this penultimate race of the season in Singapore on this Saturday night. This should be an absolute thriller. The final token race of the season, so no point hiding it because we've known it for about a week now. Let's pull up the tokens here. Adver spends 2. Rito spends 2, Anti spends 2, Pit Crew spends 2, Tonsod spends 4, Hetmenica spends 3, Urist spends 1, Andres spends 4, Corvid spends 2, and Pappy spends 4. That means that the highest token spenders, or at least 3 of our 4 highest token spenders, are the drivers in the bottom 3 of the championship: Pappy, Andres, and Hetmenica. Wow, this should be really, really good. Long lap here, only 39 laps. The race will be the shortest by number on the Ultimate Virtual calendar. Let's look at how the teams fared in the upgrade session for today. Fox got an acceleration upgrade. It was speed for Neon Sunset Virtual. That puts them on 6 speed, making them one of the fastest cars out there. Only 3 cars with 6 speed alongside Flying V Racing, who also got their speed upgrade today. And ThunderX, and Furia Roja, who got that previously. We also had Porsche get a speed upgrade up to level 3. We saw Velocity get a speed upgrade up to level 5, making them now the second fastest car on paper. At least it's a big speed track this. They also got an acceleration upgrade. They are this week's big winners. Then with upgrades 2 was grip and double acceleration for Furia Roja, as well as a speed upgrade for Pappy Pops Racing. Now looking at the overall index and points here. Mention this again when we have a look at the standings, but if ThunderX can outscore Furia Roja by 4 points here today, while not being outscored by, let's say, 10 points by Fox, 20 points by the teams behind them, which seems unlikely. If Pit Crew can get some decent points here today for ThunderX, he will more than enough ensure that they are the Constructors' Champions. But we'll keep you posted on that. He cannot win the championship today. Grandy theoretically could by winning the race. He would win the title, but doesn't look likely with him not spending any tokens. Right. We approach the end of this qualifying session. 12 seconds left on the clock. Let's catch up with our leader. He will not get to the line in time. It's Andres who is out there first on track, out there with the fastest lap. But as the clock ticks down, 0 seconds remain, and this is the final lap. Does he improve on his final lap of qualifying? He will not. Can the drivers behind him, though? Rito didn't. We got some improvement there. Todsod up as well. Shiloh improving. Further back, not too many. Bluebell Boy does improve, though, quite substantially, actually. We'll see where that puts all of them. Come the starting grid. And it is Andres taking pole position. Pit Crew, half a tenth back, starts alongside him on the front row. Rito starts from 3rd position. Then it's Pappy in 4th. Hetmenica 5th. And Anti 6th, Todsod takes 7th, Shiloh 8th, Grandy 9th, and Corvid 10th. Goose takes 11th place ahead of Adver. Then it's Bluebell Boy starting ahead of Somehow I Made It. Urist and Kubo lock out the 8th row. Fox ahead of Vaporeon. Then the French back row of Cado. And Sua said, let's pull up the tokens and see how we expect the drivers to perform. Our highest token spender are Todsod with 4 starting from 7th, Andres with 4 starting from pole, and Pappy with 4 starting from 4th. Hetmenica, 3 tokens for him, and he'll start from 5th. Then we have a whole load of 2 token spenders, 6 of them, I believe, or 5 of them to my count. We have Adver, who actually only starts in 12th. That Fox car, they started the season strong, the Fox team, but they've really disappointed as of late. Not just been able to get those wins on the high days and scrap those points in the minor positions on the slightly lower days. It's been disappointing. Rito, 2 tokens for him, and he starts 3rd rather, not 2nd. Anti with 2 tokens starts from 6th. Pit Crew with 2 tokens starts on the front row, and Corvid with 2 tokens starts behind his teammate Shiloh, who is tokenless. 10th and 8th for them respectively, and we just have the one token spender. It is Eurus McProl starting in 15th position. He'll have to make his way through the field there. I think you can see the cars are more important than the drivers here, but then again, Eurus in that velocity should be doing very well, so I don't know what that low position is for. Probably just very speed dependent in qualifying, and only inverted commas 5 speed for them. This is the standings coming into this race. As you can see, Pit Crew has a huge chance here if he can pull off some really major points. Pulling, I think, 10 points clear of his teammate by taking 3rd place here would put him in an amazing position to win the title come the final race, because realistically, when they get that speed upgrade next week, which they almost certainly will, it will be the Thunder X's by far the fastest car, and will be fighting for 1st and 2nd, at which point there could be 8 points either way. There's nothing between them to split them, but if Pit Crew can make that gap about 10 points by finishing 3rd or higher, that may put him in the driving seat for this championship. Any lower than that and we'll get a very nail-biting finale. Corvid with 2 tokens and Anti with 2 tokens, looking to put themselves up the order here. They can bag themselves spots actually in the top 4 in the standings by taking 5th place or higher here today for Corvid, and for Anti 4th place or higher. And as mentioned, the bottom 3 in the championship all spending as well, spending big too. Here's the standings. You can see Pit Crew, the winner of the last race, might not win today with the tough competition he'll face from 3 and 4 token spenders. There's quite a lot going on there, especially the likes of Andrews, who is in what is still a very fast BFX, very good on the straight lines. Yeah, he'll look to run away with that, and it should be a very interesting race. That is all. We'll get straight into it. Here we go then for the penultimate round of the season. We're underway here in Singapore. Andrews takes the soft off the start. So does Pit Crew. Rito behind on the hard compound tyre. Pappy on the soft. Menica on the soft, looking to make up some positions from 5th. Where can he go to? Pit Crew, where can he go to? Andrews just cuts him off as they come into the left, right, left section. Menica, though, a great start. He's up to 2nd place, potentially, if he can make a move here around the outside of Pit Crew. Pit Crew hits the wall. Menica does. Can he go from 5th to 1st on the first lap? Going up against his old friend and rival, his compatriot Andrews. Pit Crew, though, really getting a good exit out through there, and from the front row of the grid, he leads the first lap here in Singapore. Menica in 2nd, then Andrews, Rito, Todsod just ahead of him now. He's on the soft compound tyre. Rito gets him back on the exit of turn 1. Pape through there, then Shiloh, Grandi, Corvid, the 2 Furirojas, both a position higher than they started. Anti, though, up the inside, looks to spot all the party there, and he goes very successfully. Takes that spot. Don't, of course, count out at all. Grandi points here today would be very critical in the title race. Here, though, is the fight at the front. It's Andrews now leading the race. Then Pit Crew, the Brazilian, surrounded by Dutchman. Menica with a good run down the back straight up the inside into the double left-hand final corner. Does make it 1st place for himself. Pit Crew right on the back of Andrews. Now Todsod, then Pape, Rito, then Shiloh, Hattonty, and then Corvid, Grandi, then Eurus, Goose, Vaporeon, Bluebell, somehow made it. Kuba, Abva, Suicide, Caddo, and Fox is the state of affairs. Look at this pack right up the front. 3 token spending Menica, 4 token Andrews, then right behind. Oh, Andrews with a great overtake, just slams himself into the wall. Seems to work. Todsod with 4, Pappy also with 4, and Pit Crew with 2. Still in the mixer here. Menica, I think, surely will find himself outside of this pack eventually, because the pace of the Porsche is not quite there, even with the speed upgrade they just got. And 3 tokens versus 4 won't do any favours for him either. Pit Crew, we'll have to wait and see what can he do with this Thunder X. He took his first ever victory last time out in Istanbul. Great to see him finally stand on the top step of the podium with the Brazilian and Finnish anthems are playing for the Thunder X and team and that driver. Menica pivots slightly as he hits the wall. Rito goes through there. Anti, Shiloh, Eurus, Corvid, Goose, Randy. No problems for any of these drivers. These are the fights over these points positions. It's a couple tokens for Rito and Anti, isn't it? 2 for Rito, 2 for Anti, as well as 2 for Abva, 2 for Pitcrew, who is much higher up, and 2 for Corvid as well. Just the 1 for Jurist Mukprole. Pappy now in second. This is really interesting, actually. We've got the 2 Canadians here. We've got the Dutchman in first and 5th position. We've got the orange cars, the Furiroja and the Thunder X. Very violent, wide motions from these drivers as they go over the Anderson Bridge into the hairpin just after it. It's a low speed corner normally, but I think a bit of wall riding never hurt any of these drivers as they go right up the outside of Andrews there. Pappy going through as well, and Andrews falls down to 3rd position. This is all just going to be a strategic game of chess. Pappy, Andrews side by side, neck and neck. They go down the straight. The BFX car just pulling through. They are yet to win a race this season. It would be quite something if they didn't. It would be akin to season 4, I believe. They won no races. Season 5, oh no, sorry, season 4 they did. They won in the finale. Season 5, I believe, they didn't win any races. So it would be similar to that. The team that hasn't won a race, despite all of their alleged success, they won't have won a race in this era of Ultimate Virtual since the last regulation change. They wouldn't have won one in this 3rd era. Now they go into pit. Eurus comes through and looks to get involved a little bit. Rito also there, just slotting in. Funny, those 2 drivers, 2 champions, lots of links between them as well, both being teammates of the great Kubo. Driver has never taken the championship but has a boatload of wins. Although funny enough, less so this season actually. No, he did win somewhere, didn't he? I think it was round oh god, I'm not sure. Can't remember. Anti now leads. He's not stopped yet. He's still out there on his medium tyres. We'll take a look at Kubo's season thus far. Kubo is in 6th place in the championship. No, he hasn't won this season. Oh no, he has. He won in Vallelunga. That's right. Yeah, he's quite an impressive driver, that Kubo fella. Corvid coming out on the soft compound tyre in the Furiroja car ahead of the aforementioned Kubo. We also have Anti falling down to 3rd place now. Will it become 4th by the time they get to the end of this straight? Fear it might, as he gets passed by Pappy. He doesn't decide to come in yet though. He might just be waiting out for rain or something. There we go. Spoke it into existence, and Anti will have been begging for that rain. They'll be quite satisfied in that now. We've got our first drivers coming into pit lane. It's Eurus, Pitcrew and Shiloh all in, and Pitcrew, I believe, has just come in as well for Slicks. He's the only, or one of the only drivers to make 2 stops so far. Corvid another, Goose another. Somehow I made it another as well. That's going to really hurt Pitcrew, actually. That could be big for the championship, as Andres gets past Todd Sod as in this rainy night here in Singapore. They all pile into the pit lane. It's a funny little entry and can cause some confusion with the drivers, so you'll often find a different order that you came in, that you go out into, if that makes any sense at all. Antien, he's in 4th place now. He'll be very pleased with his pit stop saved there. None so far for him. Rito and Eurus were also yet to stop, as was Shiloh, the only drivers in the top 10 who didn't take that first stop. And have now come in for the Inters Corvid and Bluebell side by side. Clouds are coming back. We're just not feeling it today, is he? 14th place. Needs to be getting a move on. 2 tokens, but the Fox car, I don't know, just doesn't seem to be working really at the moment. Close battle for second. It's the Canadians of Pappy and Todd Sod. Last season here we saw Jaruni and Caddo on the podium. Don't think we'll see those 2 on the podium here today. With Anti winning, of course. Probably not going to have a repeat, but Anti looking decent so far in this race. We are 11 of 39 laps through. Vaporeon is the only driver to take the wet. He's had a funny old season. He stands a very, very good chance of finishing the season bottom by quite a long way. If the drivers behind him can make any progress. He's into the pit lane now. Also into the pit lane is everyone from 14th downwards. It's Adver and Caddo, Goose, and somehow made it Suicide Vaporeon. And Fox Andrews now in a lap ahead of them. It looks like Pappy with the late box only come up relative to Todd. Just slots in right behind him as they hit the pit exit line. But Todd is a lot closer to Pappy than he is to the car in front of him. Pappy round the outside. Can he go? Yes, he does go brilliantly nicely. coming into that right-hander. Gets that second position, looking for a good end to the season here. If he can get one, we'll do a review of Todd and Papi's seasons so far. Papi with just the 1 points scoring finish. It was 4th place for him in Valencia, and in no other race so far this season has he scored any points. Todd Sod had a decent little purple patch earlier in the season, actually. 4th place in Saudi Arabia, so close to a maiden podium. A 10th place in Monaco, that was tokenless, I believe. And then 2nd place in Innsbruck, his definite highlight, but pipped to the pole by his countryman Fox, who just won over in the end. The battle rages onwards, though. He's actually got a 3-race P11 streak, which he'll definitely hope to end today. And he's had a decent average finish so far this season. It's been a decent rookie season for the Canadian driving the FVR car, and I believe he will be staying on for next season as well. So the virtual rumour mill has it, despite approaches from some Challenger virtual teams to get their drivers in the ever-coveted FVR seat, or really any Ultimate Virtual seat. A big gap is forming here. Anti in 4th is a bit of a stop in the bottle. On the soft compound tyre, Hetmenica on the medium, Pit Crew on the high, Rito also on the high. Side by side go Pit Crew and Hetmenica. 2 drivers who have fought before for wins at certain tracks, I'm sure, probably Malaysia. I think Pit Crew had a decent Malaysia race once. Was he in between Het and Lev or something? Don't remember. Somebody was. No, that was Vlad. Jesus, that was a long time ago. Vlado 204. Where's he gone? He's running FEV these days. Actually, go watch some FEV. It's a good league. Todd Sod versus Papi as they go into the left-hander. Interesting racing conduct there. Andrews out in the lead on the soft compound tyre. All of them the exact same age of soft. And Antigone held up by Suicide quite badly there, actually. Probably trying to do his good old teammate Todd a favour. Pit Crew in 5th on the hard compound tyre. This is going to be the first real strategy that we see. He was right at the front earlier, but now he's going to have to rely on an overcut in order to get some high position off this. Hetmenica on the medium, looking to sort of play the best of both worlds. Jurist in 7th place as it stands. Rita takes 8th. Jurist spending the 1 token. Corvid spending 2. He's all the way down in 9th, which is not really that far down. Then it is 2 tokens for Pit Crew in 5th in a very fast Thunder X car. 2 tokens for Abva in 12th. 2 tokens for Rito in 8th, 2 tokens for Anti in 4th. So a little spread of our 2 token spenders, our 4 token spenders, and it's not often we have a race with 3 4 token spenders. Are Todd and Andrews and Papi, all of whom are running in the top 3. Hetmenica now down to 7th position after his early race leading abilities. Interesting to see that, and slightly sad as well, because this was basically Porsche's last chance at a sort of all or nothing incredible finish to save them from relegation, but with how far they are off now, it's difficult to see that happening. Todd Sod is in earlier than Andrews. He puts on the hard compound tyre. Pit Crew out there on his old hards, waiting for rain maybe, or just generally trying an overcut, but he's getting slowed down by Todd in a straight line there. The FVR is not very quick. Pit Crew just about squeezes between the Canadian driver and the barrier. He goes nice and wide, coming into the right-hander. Can he get the move done here? Todd clips the wall on the inside, otherwise I don't think Pit Crew would have been able to do it, and he does do it here. 2nd place for the Brazilian in the Thunder X. He needs to hold that and just hold up the cars behind it. Hetmenica now up to 5th. Andrews in. This will be fascinating to see where he comes out relative to the likes of Pit Crew and Todd. Pit Crew's had a bit of a flyer. Andrews comes out. He's going to be slow coming out of the pit lane. That hurts him all the way down that 2nd straight. Can Pit Crew take the lead of the race here? Andrews deploys boost. It's not quite enough. Well, I mean, it is enough just for now, actually. Pit Crew backs off going into the right-hand kink. He might have another go slightly later. Those hards are not fully done yet, but Todd looks to fight it back. Papi's fallen off them a little bit. Hetmenica now in 6th position as Anti has come in for new tyres, as has Jurist, who's having a great race in the Team Velocity car, up from 15th. He's now in 8th, but he's just stopped as well, so he can go very nice and long on those hard compound tyres, weather permitting. Andrews, then Todd, then Pit Crew is your top 3 at the moment. Papi in there as well. We'll see what this will do for the Constructors' Championship. Hetmenica needs a great finish here because Porsche currently 18 points off Pappy Pops, and Pappy looking to score good points here today. Porsche, it would be difficult for them to get relegated because they'd need to be not scoring any points, and then every other team of 71 or more points, which I don't think is even possible in Pappy Pops' case. The most they can get. Well, if Pappy won with fastest lap, Suicide grabbed a point somehow, you know, he's still going to finish last. Yeah, they're not going to be mathematically out of it until the end, Porsche, but they're not going to be competitively in it either. Pit crew is into the pit lane. We'll go back to that now. He comes in, does his Hetmenica actually in for the medium compound tyre, and Eurus now giving him a bit of grief there on his still slightly fresh hards. It's Corvid and Shiloh who have just come in. Shiloh now down into 11th place as she emerges from pit lane. Advert with 2 tokens. Remember, he has 2 tokens. I mean, this is crazy. The Fox is not a bad car. It is really not a bad car. But look at that. Overall score of 5.4. It's just not got the speed at this circuit, to be honest. I think the 4-speed really hurts it here. Rumour has it the index point system will be removed next season because it's not an accurate enough rating of the cars anymore at different tracks like these. Andries, though, Todsard, wow, flying around the outside. His teammate a lap down. Andries might find himself in a little Canadian sandwich here between the two Flying V Racings, but he gets out of that situation as quickly as physically possible. Anti drops off the back of pit crew as they come out of that very sharp left-hander, though he looks to come back a little bit here. The race winner last season drifts sideways. Pit crew, the man who was in the fight for the podium here in Season 3 on the final laps. Of course, this track has only been raced since Season 3, I believe. Don't think... Oh, no, we did have it in Season 2? Maybe not. Don't remember, actually. I think it's only been raced in Season 3. Grandy won here in Season 3. Season 5, it was Anti. Cancelled in Season 4 because of the Dorfit 36 pandemic. Fascinating race this is playing out to be, though. Pit crew in 5th place, closing in on Anti. Reminder of the tokens: 2 for Anti and pit crew, as well as 2 for Adva down 11th, and Heavy Rain on its way. 2 for Corvid as well, just to finish that up, and 2 finally for Rito. Rain came very, very quickly indeed, actually. Hetmenica is our first driver in. A lot of these drivers will struggle. It's getting around this lap. This will be very, very slow, especially for the likes of Anti on a worn-out soft. The rain is going to de-intensify. We'll track along with our top 5 as they do this lap there, but the rain really caught people off guard, actually. I mean, look at that. It's just sort of sliding around quite poorly. Pappy going into the runoff there. Luckily, there's a lot straighter and narrower than it used to be, but Kato on the hard, I mean, he's actually taken some of the brunt for Anti there. This could be a big Hetmenica undercut on a couple drivers. Andries is out, Todsod is out, Pappy out now as well. Pit crew going through. Anti puts on the intermediate tyre, and Hetmenica really, by going that lap earlier and just calling it right, being at the pit entry at the right time, has propelled himself really into competition here. I'm not saying that this will survive. It will save Porsche. They're still being outscored by Pappy Pops in this race. But, well, they'll need a miracle on the final day, won't they? It's just not going to happen. But still, look, he's looking to go out with a bang. He's not going to own this team next season regardless of what happens. And I think he's retiring as a driver for next season as well. So Hetmenica, who's been with us since the very start, racing for Spire Motorsport. Porsche, as owned by Levy. Teammates to the likes of Levioso, as well as Julo, Apple Amazing, and now finally Vaporeon. Waves goodbye to his career, but might do it in style with a podium here in Singapore, because he ain't getting shit in Interlagos unless they get triple speed upgrade somehow. Pappy is a driver. Pit crew closing on a Hetmenica. 13 laps to go, 1/3 of the raced distance. Rito close behind Anti. Rain is going to stay light here. The track's not going to fully dry out. Nobody was planning to come in anyways. Anti will have decent pace here actually with this level of rain if it stays consistent. Intermediates do best in light rain conditions. 1 second is the gap from Pit Crew to Hetmanica ahead. I want to take another look at the drivers' standings this season. Cloud announcement, by the way. As it stands, Pit Crew in 5th place will only put himself on 83 points, 6 clear of Grandy, meaning Grandy win with Pit Crew 2nd. In the final race, will still give Grandy the title. Unless Pit Crew takes the fastest lap, which would be funny. That would go to a tie break, at which point they both got 1 win. No driver has won twice this season, and Todd Sod looks to continue that trend, as would Andrews, as would Het, as would Pappy. None of these drivers have won this season. It's quite a rogue race, really. In go our front runners. It is Todd on them hard. He was right at the top. In fact, Andrews fell down to 2nd at the end of that wet stint. Andrews and Pappy take the medium. Het takes the soft. He is going aggressive here, and you can't fault him for it. Pit Crew in 5th. Grandy down in 14th. Both of them double stacking a lap away from each other. God, I could use some pizza. Andrews sliding around there. Yeah, Pit Crew on the back of Hetmanica now. There's quite a significant difference between their cars. I don't think it's unfair to say. If you look at the Thunder X, it's got 5 speed, which is actually now slightly below the top grade on the grade, but 7 XL, 7 grip, 1 turbo, and the Porsche with its 3 speed, 7 XL still, 4 grip, 8 turbo. It's only 1.1 behind in index, but these two teams have been worlds apart in terms of performance this season. One of them is going to get a 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship, and the other probably in 1920, and that shows quite a lot. Different things, how they matter. Things like token plans, things like car pace upgrades. Worlds apart, these two teams, all of them able to secure their first title here today. They are very much currently on track to outscore Furia Roja by 4 points. Corvid scoring 2, Shiloh none, Pit Crew 10. The other requirements were not being outscored by Fox's team. Ooh, Rain coming back, interesting. Everyone came in for slicks anyways. Rain coming back for Fox's team. Sorry. Not outscored by 10 points by Fox's team. No risk of that. 19th for Fox. Still 11th only for Abva. Eurus is our first driver in for an intermediate, and not being outscored by 20 points by any of the teams behind them. None of which are currently on course to do that. It's Velocity, FVR, I believe, the teams they have to worry about for that. But even with Todd Sod, if he wins the race, as long as Pit Crew is still in 5th place, that guarantees them the championship. Top it on the Inters. The heavy rain is announced. Andres, Pappy all go for the wets. So does Hetmanica. I think Pit Crew, Anti and Rito all will as well. Rito just limping around on that old hard. Eurus on the Inters as well. Colvin may have called it right with the wets there. Eurus is a big defender of the Inters. Bluebell, Abva, Shiloh all on the Inter. Kubo, Grandi, Goose all on the wets. Caddo somehow made it. Vaporeon, Suicide, Fox all on the Inter. Now the rain is de-intensifying, but it does beg the question, what point of standing water will we get to before it de-intensifies? It's a bit like Singapore actually in real life. Standing water is not going to clear very quickly, even with no heavy rain anymore. It's definitely not going to get any lighter from here. I believe the weather bar stopped increasing. Okay, now with the sun coming out, well, we'll see a bit of standing water go off the track. We'll see soft synths to the end. You'd think, actually, I mean, if they pitted this lap, it might be touch and go between a soft and a medium. But by the time it dries up in a couple laps' time, you call that a soft compound tyre. Todd Sod looking to take 26 points here today for a Flying Wheel Racing team who seem to be somewhat stuck in the middle. They are currently 6th in the championship. 85 points they've got, but Todd's points that he's bringing them would be pretty magical. This would actually take them all the way above Furia Roja, or at least tied with them maybe, as it stands. Put them in great contention for 2nd in the championship, and would be fully deserved. For a team of slight mediocrity, they've had a decent season. Looking at their Constructors' Championship just for a quick second, they've not won a race though. 3 podiums to their name, that's more than they'd average. It's been quite a widespread season actually, only a few teams with more than 3 podiums. Almost every team has 3. Pappy Pops only have that win with Suicide in Monaco. Right, it's now Todd versus Andres, Inters versus Wets. Todd coming under pressure from Mar. It doesn't make sense that Mar has better pace at this stage in the race, because the Inter should be the superior tyre. But it isn't. It isn't at the moment. Todd Sod, in the lead, has just scraped it back ahead of Andres. America was the first to pull the trigger yet again. He's going to get a very nice, toasty little outlap on that soft compound tyre. He's closing that gap quite rapidly to Pit Crew, who is languishing out there on his old wet weather tyres. 3 laps to the end. All drivers in to pit lane, surely. I don't see somebody, even Eurus, a big defender of the Inter, you can't run those for 3 laps to the end. You lose a lot of time. Right, this is the fight. It's Todd Sod, who has never taken an ultimate virtual victory. It's Andres, who is looking for his first ever win for BFX. It would also be his first win since Season 4 with the British Aerial Virtual Team. It's not been an impressive season, particularly for this team. They are 8th in the Constructors' Championship. They are looking desperately to pull this back into a decent season in what has, over the course of the last 2 seasons, been a terrible era for the team. They have been winless, but they are 3 laps away from victory. They parted ways with an iconic driver pairing of Rito and Sobel at the end of last season. But it looks like they may finally find victory. In this driver lineup, Andres and Bluebell, that were relegated with Cola Sforza last season, obviously didn't have any obligation to go down with the team. Both could jump ship to the other BFX owned team, the other Bluebell owned team. For Andres in second place, just needs to close in 2 laps now. 6 cents only. Can he close up to the back of Todd Solomon, who has never won an Ultimate Virtual Race? This is his rookie season. His teammate Goose actually giving him more problem than it was worth, really. Andres to the outside of Todd, gets the move done. Can Todd get anything back? Look at them neck and neck going down that straight now. Todd pulls ahead just that little bit and looks to lead as we go on to the final lap of the Singapore Grand Prix. This win will be huge for both of these teams. One languishing down near the rear end of the field for so much of the season. The other so desperately looking to put themselves at the top of the order, as they did back in Season 1 and haven't done since. Both of these teams with no wins this season. Both of these teams desperately wanting it. This is a really great chance for Mark. Down the inside he goes. They pull alongside each other. Mark pulls ahead as they exit the bridge. And with only a couple corners to go, it looks like he has secured it on this final lap. And it will be BFX and Andres who wins the Singapore Grand Prix. Excellent, excellent performance from the Dutchman. Led a lot of the race. Todd Sod once again has rookie victory snatched from him, but it is a double Canadian podium. And right at the end, Antti steals 4th place pretty much out of nowhere. Pit Crew only in 6th. That has huge repercussions for the championship. His lead is just 4 points over Grandy. Rain massively deciding it, and only a couple seconds at the end between a lot of these drivers. Here are the full results. The win goes to Andres. The podium, 2nd place with fastest lap is Todd Sod, and then Pappy in 3rd. Both these drivers, please, they'll be on the podium. Pappy Pops either on the podium or not in the points this season. No win for FVR most likely this season, but they do have a habit of pulling things out of the bag when it comes to the season finale. Antti takes 4th place for SFR Maserati Corsa. They would have been sad with their upgrade luck this week, but delighted with a 2-token P4. Great points for the team. Menica 5th for Porsche. 10 points for them. Brings them to within... oh no, it doesn't bring them to within 8 of anyone, actually. Their gaps to the teams ahead have very much increased. At least by 5 points to Pappy Pops. They may be almost mathematically out of it, to be honest, without some serious race-winning action. Pit Crew takes 6th for Thunder X. That's not a good enough result for him. He would have quite liked 4th. The difference between 8 points, which puts him only 4 ahead of Grandy, and 12 points, which would have put him 8 ahead, which is the difference between 1st and 2nd in the race, and 1 point extra. That is huge. So this 1.21 seconds that separates him from 6th and 4th today may be all deciding coming into the final race. Eurostic 7th with 1 token. Great finish for him, the Velocity team. Fast car that they have now. Rito with NSV's 6-speed, really unable to take advantage of it. Only 8th place for him, 9th place for Corvid. Adva did recover to 10th in the end. Bluebell takes 11th, Shadow 12th, Kubo 13th. Grandy, tokenless, was unable to take points here today. Only the second time this season that's happened, but that does mean that Pit Crew has an out-and-out 4-point lead. However, 1 point to 6 points, it wouldn't really matter. It will be whoever wins versus whoever comes second come the final race. Goose 15th, Caddo 16th, somehow made it 17th, Vaporeon 18th, 19th for Fox, 20th for Suicide. One final race left in this season, one final race left in this generation of Ultimate Virtual before we take an extended break. Cannot wait to see you and see how this season concludes, who it will be taking the championship. It looks like here though, and they will be very pleased with this. ThunderX scored 8 points. Furia Roja scored just 2, meaning ThunderX outscored them by 4 points. The Fox team only scored 1, meaning they didn't outscore them by 11. And Flying V Racing scored just 19 points, meaning they didn't outscore them by 20. With Pit Crew taking 8. ThunderX, for the very first time, are your Ultimate Virtual World Constructors Champions. They're the only 2 drivers left in championship contention coming into this final race. It's Pit Crew versus Grandy. We'll see what happens next week. Until then, bye-bye.